In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Please be seated. The great psychiatrist and neurologist Viktor Frankl spent his early years as a researcher investigating the role that the search for meaning played in the human psyche. When he was imprisoned in a concentration camp during the Second World War, Frankl decided that he'd been pondering the wrong questions about meaning. The question the human psyche sought to answer, he said, was not, what do I want to get out of life, but what is life asking of me? He said that at Auschwitz he realized it did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us. We needed to stop asking ourselves about the meaning of life and instead to think of ourselves as those who were being questioned by life daily, hourly. Life ultimately means, he said, taking responsibility to find the right answer to its problems and to fulfill the tasks which life constantly sets for each individual. That is the meaning of life. We find two very different stories of people being questioned by life, by God, and responding to those questions in our readings. Isaiah has a vision in the temple in our Old Testament reading. And there is an immense task set before the prophet. And the prophet Isaiah responds immediately and affirmatively, "Here I am, send me." The gospel moment finds Jesus at just such a moment as well. A moment of being questioned by life, a turning point. Up to this point, in John's gospel, Jesus has said, or the narrator of the gospel has said about him, that his hour had not yet come. You find that several times up to this chapter, up to John chapter 12. So Jesus, up to this point, seems to be waiting for something to happen, some sort of sign. And suddenly, in this narrative, it's here. In that simple request, "Sir, we wish to see Jesus," he hears what life, what God is asking of him. Because at that point he says, "My hour has come." Now the people making the request, "Sir, we wish to see Jesus," are Greeks. And the evidence within the gospel suggests strongly that these are not Greek-speaking Jews, but are in fact Gentiles. One of the clues in the story itself is that they don't go immediately to Jesus, but approach the disciple Philip first. Philip, the disciple who has a Greek name. Maybe he'll grant us access to Jesus. Now Philip, like these Greeks, isn't quite sure about how welcome the Gentiles will be. So he talks to Andrew. And then Andrew talks to Jesus. Now at first glance, it almost appears as if Jesus doesn't respond to the Greeks at all. He leaves them hanging. But that much anticipated statement, "The hour has come," makes it clear that Jesus has heard something in the request of the Greeks that he's been waiting for. Do you know what it is? the longing of the world beyond Judaism to be brought into the heart of God. Sir, we wish to see Jesus is a request to be filled with the light and love and peace that comes from knowing and being welcomed by God. And Jesus hears in that uncertain and polite request his calling, his moment, the question that he's supposed to answer, and he says, I'm ready. And he sets his foot firmly on the path that will lead him to the cross, saying in just a few verses after this reading for today ends, and I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself. He hears the request of the Gentiles, and he knows, I'm here for everybody. I am ready, he says, to live and to die for the healing of the world. And in the very next sentence, he calls all of us to do the same. To lay aside our love for the life that we think that we're supposed to live, and even lay aside our own best interests or what we think they are, and come, heal the world with him. Come, heal the world with me. That cry, even now, that call, even now, that question, even now is being issued. And we each, in our own different ways, are formulating our response to that question. Y'all, I've never met a deacon who was at all blasé about being a deacon. All the deacons I know are passionate about being a deacon. And my friend Kelly stands out even among deacons for her passion about the diaconate and her investment in the church as a deacon. She listens so attentively to the cries of the people, the Gentiles who want to see Jesus, outside of the church doors, and responds with such fearless dedication, the fearless dedication of a prophet. You all know it, you've seen it, you've heard it. And so the first time she talked to me about being ordained as a priest, I thought, she loved being a deacon. I didn't say it out loud, though. I just listened. And I heard her talk about her experience working with small parishes that needed someone to serve as a priest, but couldn't afford to pay a full-time priest, and it clicked for me. Kelly, like Jesus in our gospel reading, had heard the deep longing of the people, of the long overlooked communities of faith, who needed a priest, who needed someone to bring them through word and sacrament deeper into the heart of God. And I thought, well, that's the most deacon call to the priesthood I've ever heard. In that longing that Kelly heard, she found that God was asking her a question. And she said, I'm ready. The more we talked, the more excited I became. Not because I was excited that my friend wanted to be a priest. No, I got more and more excited because I saw so vividly how much my friend loves God and the world. even more than she loved her original idea of what she was going to do and be. And being around that kind of love is contagious and exciting. That kind of love can heal the world. Callie, it's a privilege to follow Jesus with you. May your ears and your eyes always be attentive to the questions that God and life are asking of you. May God's love ground you and give you hope when times are hard. May God continue to bless you and to surprise you with joy and new callings. I think I can safely speak on behalf of everyone here that the future of the church is brighter because of your courage and your love. We have a world that longs for, that needs Jesus. May it come to know Jesus better because of you. Amen.